Where'd you get it? I know a guy. 3 for $1. Let me try. Gee.
My name is Mitchell Kagan. I think the first time I ever tried drugs was like when I was like, I don't know, about like 13, and I smoked pot and I was just like, oh, this is lit. And like, I was just like, all right, let me try this out, you know, it's kind of cool. When I was about like 16, I started taking a lot more pills and stuff because like, I was on probation, so I couldn't like do drugs and stuff like that. I couldn't smoke pot again, so I was like, you know what, I still want to alter my mind, and like, I like being in that state. And like necessarily, like I started taking like perks and like different like Xanaxes and stuff like that, and like Molly and everything. Like it would come out of my system faster, so I was like more or less trying to beat the system. And then I realized that that stuff was more expensive, you know, than what I was trying to do. So like I actually ended up just taking heroin like at that point, and like I was about like 16. So my lowest point is I remember I was in a halfway house in Elizabeth, New Jersey. I sold my iPhone and like I had like $100 on me, and I bought like straight like heroin, and like I did a lot of dope that night, and like I was feeling like alright, you know, I didn't like really go through like a bad experience. But the next morning I woke up and I was like sick as hell, like because I ran out of like all the shit that I had to do. So I was looking around the house, and then I found like a whole entire bottle of like Xanax. It was like 80 pills in there, and they're all like fucking bars and shit. And I was like, alright, word, this is lit. Like at least I can get fucked up on Xanax and forget about this, you know. And then like what happened was is that I took the pills with me, and like Xanax is like one of those things you can't just take the pills with you. You gotta hide the pills and shit, otherwise you're gonna get fucking, you know, you're gonna end up taking them all. And that's kind of what happened. Like I ended up taking like 30 Xanaxes, and I ended up like ODing and shit. And like it was crazy because like the shit stayed in my system for 3 days, and I kept ODing over and over again for like 3 days, and it was crazy. Like I didn't remember any of those 3 days. I remember like portions and stuff, but it was like the lowest that I feel like I went, you know, to like whatever, you know. One of the most important things in recovery in general to have something to do, you know, because if you're bored and shit, like you're gonna end up like trying to get yourself to do some drugs because you think it's gonna make you less bored, and it's gonna do just that for you, but essentially it's gonna bring you right back to your spot, you know. In general, music has always been a part of my life since like I was like 5 years old, you know. Like I was playing piano when I was like 5, like I hated it. I always like liked other stuff, you know. I liked rock and roll when I was younger. I liked classic rock, like Led Zeppelin and stuff. So I decided to play guitar, and I really liked it, but I was just lazy because like guitar is cool and stuff, but it's like you're by yourself with like one instrument, and it's like lonely and shit, and like you don't, it's not fun. So I bought this like shitty Newmark controller, and I was always DJing a virtual DJ, and it was like trash. It was like straight up just like me mixing like different BPMs of tracks that didn't even make sense, and like throwing in vocal samples. And I thought I was like a producer and DJ because like I mixed in 2 songs, and that was cool. But for production, I kind of got into that because I had a relapse, and like I lost my DJ controller, and like I didn't have it. So I was already producing music at the time, but it was all like never serious. I never really took it like to heart to where I was like, oh, this is what I'm gonna do. I was just kind of like making music to put on SoundCloud just to say that I can produce music. It wasn't really because like I enjoyed doing it and this was something I wanted to do. But I really got into it like after that relapse. I kind of just had my computer, and I would take my computer everywhere with me and like try to make music. So like I'll have moments where I'm like, oh, maybe if I alter my mind, you know, doing this, doing that, like I could definitely make a better track. And I'm like, that's never worked for me. I don't think I'd be where I'm at if it wasn't for music. Because I swear to God, like I'll be like at home and I'm like, fuck man, like I'm bored, you know, and I'm like, well, I got this laptop and I got this, you know, synthesizer, and I'm just gonna go fuck around with it. And I spend so much time on it, I completely forget about that I was supposed to do drugs in the first place, or I wanted to. You know, it's just kind of like, it takes all my mind off of it. And the thing is that like, a lot of people will say the music industry is populated by people that do drugs, and like I completely agree with that. But like, it's all on you at the end of the day.